Public Works, in charge of solid waste, so all the solid waste things, the landfills, the hauler contracts, illegal dumping, household hazardous waste. Did I miss anything, Karina? Bulky waste collection, actually even code compliance for some certain issues, all are in my organization. So, but what we're here to talk about tonight is, because I'm assuming most of you got one of these little flyers that said Eastern Kern Universal Solid Waste Collection, so we're going to talk about that flyer. Let me introduce who we have here. Karina Mendez is on my staff, and then you have the three people here next to us are waste management, so I'll let you guys introduce yourselves to them.
Hi, I'm Ashley Sparks.
I'm Brenda Higgins.
I'm Josh Mann. Just to kind of add a little color, I serve as the territory manager covering Kern County. Brenda is our district manager, so she's in charge of the drivers and the trucks. And then Ashley is our overseeing all of our outreach here in Roseman. So just want to make sure we had the full slate of folks answer any questions you might have.
Okay, so what's going on is the state has a mandate to actually went into law in 2016, and it's called SB 1383, and it's an effort to combat climate change. And it's talking about taking organics out of the landfill. And they said everyone will comply. They spent a couple years doing some lawmaking for the rule, and they gave us 2 minutes to comment on some of the processes in the rule. And the county pushed back quite a few times, 317 comments, needless to say. Other counties and jurisdictions made up to 6,000 comments total. So there's a lot of pushback on it, but what we end up with is a final law that we have to follow at this point in time. So what that law says is that we have to provide some sort of collection system to get the organics out of the landfills. And there were 2 or 3 different options. You could have a 1-cart system or a 2-cart system, but both of those systems required additional facilities to process that the county does not have. The county could get them, it would cost us a lot of money, and it would take multiple years. Then we came up, there's the 3-cart system. The 3-cart system is what we are implementing. There is also an option to self-haul, but because if you self-haul, then the county becomes responsible for doing all the enforcement and the compliance, and that would mean we'd have to have people at our landfills doing these programs. We decided it was much too expensive for us to do the self-hauling option for the county, so that's why we implemented the 3-cart service. So the 3-cart service is going to be in what they call mandatory collection areas. The state set up some areas based on population densities, and these are the areas that we're going to be doing in the county. This is the whole county. So let me just explain this map. What you see right here in these little green areas are what we call our universal collection areas. Those exist today. These areas currently have mandatory trash service. For those of you that live here in Roseman, you'll see some tiny little green dots in here. Some of you guys already have mandatory collection systems. And that's actually at Creed's point over here. You should see it a little better, but it's not that fabulous. All these areas where they have little green dots, you are already, if you're in any of those areas, you're already under a mandatory collection system. It's just a 1-cart service, but nevertheless, it's already on your tax roll. Does anybody have it on the tax roll right now? No? No.
What is it? Category stuff.
It's called, it will say, Eastern Kern Refuse, I believe is what it says.
Yeah, there's taxes only like 40-something. There's a dump fee on.
Well, the dump fee is a different thing.
Is it?
Yeah, that's a different thing.
Well,
But I'm just curious, you may not have them. If you don't live in these little areas, you may not.
Oh, I was saying we can go out and the dump, which is like, it's a bill on our tax. We can from.
Yeah, that's a different fee. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, that fee is actually that's called the solid waste management program charge. It's called the land use fee,
Yeah.
and that's for the use of any of the facilities in Kern County. And because by paying that, right now it's $160, and that's on your tax fee, and that allows you to go to any of our facilities at no charge.
Well, I didn't know that. I just thought it was online. So
No,
that's-
you can go to any of them. You can go to any of the landfills we have, any of the transfer stations. You can come to our special waste facilities, and all that's for free. Or there's Tehachapi, you go to Tehachapi. We've got a whole bunch of them all over. So anyway, it doesn't sound. So basically, if you were using waste management right now and you didn't have to pay them, that's how you would know if you're in a universal collection area. So if you're using them now and you have to pay them, you're not in there. If you don't do anything at all, you're not in there. But if you use them now and it goes on your tax bill, you're in this area. So anyway, what we're trying, I'm just trying to see. And is there this little piece in Mojave too, I think, Josh, or they've got something highlighted. Do you know of any up here? Don't recall any.
I don't recall any.
Yeah, I don't know why they got the highlight. Maybe in here, but maybe there's no houses. So they'll be developed. So anyway, these areas that are highlighted, let me go back over to this highlighted, I call it coral, other people call it red, pink, I don't know. These are all the areas that we're looking at adding into mandatory collection areas. So everywhere you see this kind of coral color, they're gonna be added in. And we have it split up, we have what we call the western Kern area, and this stuff is over here on the western Kern side. And then this right here is gonna be Metro Bakersfield, because Metro Bakersfield has been on a 3-cart service for years, probably about since 2000 or so. And then everything else, from Lebec all the way through to Tehachapi, Kern Valley, around Ridgecrest, Boron, you guys in Mojave, that was gonna be the eastern Kern. And that's why you got this little flyer right here. So once again, this is just a closer up map of this one right here. So that's how the county has it set up. And that means if the Board of Supervisors approves this, the meeting is next Tuesday at 2 p.m. In the Board of Supervisors chambers, and it tells you right here on your flyer, this is where the meeting's at. If they approve this, that means on July 1, a fee will go on your tax bill of $559.80. That's an annual charge. And what that will provide you is 3-cart collection service. They will bring, Waste Management will bring 3 carts out to your house. There'll be 3 96-gallon carts. There'll be 1 cart that's a black cart, or are they going to be green with different color lids? They have different colors.
The gray body, your yard waste / organics will have a green lid, your recycling will have a blue lid, and your trash will have a black lid.
Is it easy
I'm
enough
not
for
gonna
you?
get it wrong.
I'm sorry.
Yes, go
Is
ahead.
it easy enough for you to tell us what the boundaries of that almost rectangle of Roseman are? Does it show by streets or anything like that?
It shows by section township and range.
Oh, okay.
And I don't think we have the streets on
All
it
right,
that close.
okay.
We can get that to you if you're interested. If you pick up one of my business cards over there and email me that question, we can certainly get you that much detail on it. But yeah, I can't tell you the exact street names off the top of my head. It's just got the section town. You can see the little areas in here too. You see all the little residential areas. But if you want a close up, just email me and I'll be happy to provide it to you. So the 3-cart system would be coming into July 1. So somewhere around July 1, they would be bringing out the 3 carts to your house. At that point in time, the fee goes on your tax bill, and then your service would start. The black cart, which one's the regular trash? The black cart with the black lid, right? You guys have the black and black. That one will be picked up weekly. The blue cart, the one that has the blue lid, the blue lid, right?
The blue lid, and
Blue
they'll
lid.
all have the writing on it as well.
Yeah, that one will be picked up every other week. And then the one with the green lid will be picked up weekly.
Tell us again, what they are for.
Okay,
You
so
said the black is gonna be weekly, what is that for?
that's for the regular trash. That's things like candy wrappers. Let's see what we got here. Styrofoam, diapers, plastic containers,
Pet waste.
pet waste, diapers, chips. I mean, chip bags. It's just it's stuff that's not organic.
Hey, that's organic.
They don't want kind of.
We'll let you come through it, Jean.
She got you, Adele.
Uh-oh.
Bring them out.
And then in the recyclable cart, and we've got these pages right over here.
If you could just tell us when you're ready, yeah. And then-
Oh, okay, so
the blue one is.
in the blue one will be things like glass, plastic, boxes, paper, newspapers. Boxes are a big thing.
I think it's important too to note that assuming that this passes on the 23rd, we have some information that we'll give to each of you that shows an image of the carts, gives you clear information on what goes to each one, and I'm happy to give each of you one of my business cards. If you ever have a question, my cell phone number is on it, you can call me and ask where something would go.
Okay.
Okay, so, and then the green, but you will get more information. The green would be things like your grass clippings, any garden waste you might have, tree branches or cuttings out of your yard. Food waste, this is where your food waste goes. Do you have another question?
Yeah, you said, the trash one is gonna be every week?
Yes.
What is the blue one gonna be?
Every other week.
Okay, and how about the other one?
And that one will be weekly. The green one, the one with the green lid will be weekly, the one for your organics. And they will provide you a schedule of what day they will pick those up, so that you will know in advance if this all gets passed. They will provide you that information, what goes in them, and when they're gonna come pick them up at your house.
Did you say all of Rosamond is not mandatory?
I said, this area of Rosamond that you see right here, there's some of them that are already mandatory. these little green areas in here, these are already mandatory service. But the rest of this is what is part of the new area that we're setting up right now. Everything you see right here in this coral colored area. Many years ago, I think it was like about 2000, that the county decided there was so much illegal dumping in a lot of areas that they decided they were going to mandate collection in those particular areas. And the first one that actually came about, I think, was here in Taft, the Taft area, right over here. They had big illegal dumping problems there, and they just said, well, they're going to just make those people have to have trash collection, and they're going to put it on their tax roll. And that same thing happened in Metro Bakersfield. Metro Bakersfield actually did a 3-card system for a number of years.
Yeah, they tried that in Roseman when Megan was Megan on,
Yeah.
and it didn't pass.
Well, it may not pass this time. We don't know at this point. And the supervisors may not approve it, because the supervisors still have to weigh in on it. And I know they're not all very much in favor of it.
They're not?
But they're not. But right now, there is a problem for them because this is a state mandate. So if it were voted out, and it takes a 50% plus 1 vote to actually vote it out, and it's a big group because there's a big group to take the protest. But they can, even if you don't get sufficient protest, they can still say no. They can say, no, we don't want to do it. You guys go back and come back and figure out something else. The problem with them saying no is that the state can then come back upon the county and say, you didn't comply with the law. And I think we might have said at another meeting that we have 4 things that we're in violation for right now. If we implement, the violations will go away. But if we don't implement, we could be fined up to $10,000 per day. For a while, we thought it was $10,000 per violation. I think we might have said that, but that is not true. We got additional direction from Cal Recycle. It's a $10,000 aggregate total. So even though we may have 4 violations, they can't charge us more than $10,000 a day. Yes, sir.
So if the $559.80 per year goes on our tax bill, then we no longer pay waste management?
Absolutely. If you're currently paying waste management not right now, you will stop as of July 1, and you don't pay them anymore because they will be paid by the county off the tax roll.
Assuming you have standard service levels, but if you wanted additional containers
Right. Oh, yeah.
or something, you would have a direct bill with everyone.
Well, you're still going to get the three cans.
Correct,
Yeah.
but if you wanted an additional trash container,
Sure,
Yeah.
yeah, more than 3. Oh, yes, ma'am.
Okay, I know now that they don't have like they have a Lancaster where you can get like 1 pickup a year. Are you gonna be doing that also?
So we're going to be doing what we call curbside bulky waste pickup.
Yeah.
So you can, there will actually be, you can have call-in service of 1 bulky waste pickup per month. So once a month, you can call Waste Management, and you can say, hey, I got a mattress and a chair, I need you guys to come pick it up, please. They will schedule a date, and then they will come pick it up for you.
Okay.
And you do that 1 time a month, 2 items, 1 time per month.
we also have a Christmas tree pickup as well during the holidays. We'll come and pick up your Christmas tree.
Thanks.
So I have a question. So
Okay.
why is it every other week on recycle?
It's every other week because we've never seen a need for a weekly pickup on recycling at this point in time. And right now, recycling is actually pretty cost prohibitive because it used to be that you could make a ton of money on recyclables, but right now it costs money to process those recyclables. So we really haven't seen
What do they
it.
do with that once they pick it up?
Where are you taking your
So-
recyclables?
All of your recycles will go to my yard at Tehachapi, and then I actually ship it down to Sun Valley. And that's a big recycling center down there.
And they process it
Right.
there?
Yeah, in this program, the hauler actually owns whatever you put in that blue cart. The county doesn't own, so they won't come to any of our facilities. They take it and they will process. They pay for the processing also. Okay, so what questions does anybody have? Okay, another question.
I don't know how long ago it was, maybe a year ago or so, that we had a presentation at the RMAC about this. And I think it was a gentleman that explained all the things the county was looking into to take the organics and possibly make some money off of them somehow. There were a lot of programs which sounded really hopeful at the time. I don't know, is the county still looking, have they decided? Is there some way to get something out of all of that?
Well, so we did a request for proposals, and we've got several proposals on that. There is one that we're pursuing right now. It is extremely expensive. It's a conversion technology where basically you kind of have like a facility kind of like this. So it sorts out all the trash up front and then kind of cleans it all up, and then it goes into an anaerobic digester. That technology is actually called waste away, but we haven't made any final decisions yet. it's like $35–40 million. And it's gonna take us years to build. So we would like to do that, and if we can do that, we might be able to get to a different type of pickup system in the future, but we think that's gonna be several years away yet.
Because some of the ones he described as potential sound like they could make money ultimately.
Yeah, and in this one, you could possibly make money as we turn it into renewable energy. Yeah, absolutely.
That's a question I'm going to ask because there are companies out there, one of them is titled VSLP, and they're doing this efficiently over in Europe, that now are coming over here, and they're actually at the waste sites and pulling that waste garbage in as it comes in, and they're making all kinds of clean energy.
We're continuing to look at those, because there's several of them that come in, that are contacting us, what can we do for you guys, and how can we work that? But once again, we're talking a couple of years down the road, and we gotta comply with this mandate.
Yeah.
Actually, we're supposed to have complied on January 1 of 2022, but we weren't ready. You can say, I'm still not 100% sure we're ready now, but we gotta do it because we actually have told the state we will get it implemented before the end of this year. But absolutely, we are gonna continue to follow up on those technologies that are out there. If that were to happen, that could change what the rates are and how we handle trash. Okay, what other questions?
How are you gonna handle apartment complexes?
So apartment complexes are actually residential units, so they are provided the same level of service as a single-family home, but they're not gonna use 3 carts, they're gonna use bin service, so they'll be able to pick like however many bins they need. So say you have like 10 apartments, you're still gonna get 240 gallons per week per apartment, so you can do any combination of bins so long as you have still the 3 separate ones. You have one for trash, one for recyclables, and one for organic waste. So you might have a couple of 3 cubic yard dumpsters and maybe just one organic bin or something like that. So they'll be able to choose that, but they must have at least the 240 gallons per apartment unit.
But they don't have room for that.
They have to have room for the bins. They have to have some kind of room. They're not gonna have 15 or anything like that. They'll use the big dumpsters.
I know.
How do they pick up trash now? You have to have something out there now,
They
right?
got one.
Well, if there was some reason they couldn't get it in, that would be something we'd have to look at on a case-by-case basis. But,
I got 5 units and I got 1 den, but I got room for 3.
well, it might be one, but you might be able to put like a, you
In
might.
1980, they didn't think about things like this. you
Well,
know.
that's true. It's something we might have to check into if there was some sort of physical space type of limitation that could we get a waiver on it? It's a little iffy on apartments, but we'd have to follow up on that.
And Gene, we would, Ashley or Frank, someone from our team would come out and we would work with you on a site assessment about what combination would work for the number of units in terms of what that translates in terms of the level of service, and do our best. We understand that in some cases, especially where it's a cinder block enclosure, that there's some space limitations, but we'll work with you in terms of trying to figure out what's best for your
So in apartment complexes, it's easy to see if we're following the rules. Is it the apartment owner that will be held responsible if nobody's following it? Is
It's the property owner.
property owner, I mean,
Property
just
owner, absolutely.
dumping into whatever bin they fill it in?
I mean, I think that you've seen one property and how they handle it, so it would be their responsibility to educate their tenants, and we would obviously help too.
Yes, sir.
So I
That's confusing.
So first one, they had brought up the businesses that would help divert these kinds of products.
I'm sorry, start again, please.
The gentleman had brought up that the fact that there's businesses that can divert these kinds of products to help save us money on this.
Right.
And Kern County does have an RMDZ, correct?
An R&D.
A recycling market development zone. Somebody near
We do
mine-
have, yes, that's correct.
So I have at least 7 friends that have tried applying to that program and don't even get calls back. I mean, so
Do you know who they're calling?
they're calling whoever's on the website. I'm happy to give you the name if you'd like me to look it up real quick.
Yeah, I'm just curious, because I know we have a representative for that.
So, I mean, there's that. So, I mean, if you're telling us that we're looking at these technologies, these are people who already have businesses that they're ready to open and expand that aren't getting calls back for the program that's actually developed to limit this. So, I mean, that kind of brings to mind, like, that's kind of poor service for us as residents, right? So then my second question is for waste management. If I can be very frank, which I think I'm actually on the RMAC board, so these people are my constituents, I'm going to be frank because they expect me to. They're not going to answer the questions because they don't want to offend you, but I'm happy to. You guys provide really shitty service now.
Yes, but it-
How are you gonna provide better service with three hands?
Yes. The trash man tore the white trash can with the arms, just boom, boom. They bring me back this littler thing, you know, than what we had. We tried to get that fixed. My husband calls in, nothing. We're paying already for trash service every 3 months, plus on land on our property taxes. And then you see all these people dumping trash everywhere because they don't want to pay these fees.
When you try to get a new trash can, good luck.
Yeah, so that's actually what I was gonna say, is a couple years ago.
Wait a minute,
I was-
let him answer your, wait a minute, let him answer your question. Okay, give him a chance to answer your question, because you're asked several there, so Josh, you want to address that?
It's one of those things that I'm obviously disappointed to hear that service is not meeting expectations. That being said, this is that we're obviously here tonight, and we love the opportunity to make it right in terms of if there is a need for us to take a look at replacement of containers. Brenda, as our district manager, would love to get that taken care of as quickly as possible. And I will say that in terms of the opportunity, and I know that this is not necessarily something I'm excited about in terms of I know that a lot of folks would prefer not to have things change. Is that we're going to be making a very concerted investment to meet the terms of our agreement with the county, and that includes a lot more enhanced outreach and a lot more enhanced customer service opportunities for us, and certainly we'll have more of a presence here in Rosamond than we're able to be able to afford otherwise, for the fact that we'll have more customers. So again, I'm disappointed to the feedback, but I certainly appreciate it. That we're here tonight because we care. I mean, we made an investment in this community. We want to be known for providing safe, reliable service, and so from that standpoint, I want to make sure that we get there.
So to be fair, once I called corporate in Texas, the issue was fixed within 4.5 hours versus the 4.5 weeks that you guys kind of just led me along.
I'm glad that we were able to get your issue resolved, but it is unfortunate that it was not resolved in a timely manner, and I
But you
apologize
guys
for that.
want people in Texas. So how long before this awesome new customer service reverts back to the way that it's at?
Well, at any point in time, if you don't feel like you're getting the response you need from Waste Management, take one of my cards and call me. And let me address it with Waste Management. I'd be happy to follow up. Okay, yes, ma'am.
Well, on the flip side of that, I do not have trash service. But anytime I've called in, or you guys, any one of you guys, I've talked to you and somebody else, you guys have been super about when we're picking up stuff that you didn't know was out there, it was sitting in the wind or whatever, and you went and picked it up. So I do appreciate that.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing.
I also know you guys helped pick up some mattresses that somebody dropped on the road, like 21 of them. You guys helped pick those up, so, so I do appreciate that. I'm always out riding around seeing what's going on, so, so you guys get a lot of calls from me.
Okay, so we also have some little business cards over there that talk about reporting a problem. So if you see those type of items, let us know, because we actually have a little dumping crews that actually do come out here. They're not out here every single day, but they come out here periodically. So if there are problems that exist, please let us know.
This guy said he's handling it all the time.
Okay, I'm gonna get this lady in the back here. She's had her hand up a long time too.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So to piggyback on to him, the city goods, it's great, it's exciting, it's fantastic. But in the years I've been here now, I have not had stellar service. Our bin has been run over by the truck, dragged down the road, and they just keep driving on, and you have to run down the road and grab the bin, which results into more North bids. So how long until those three really wonderful, colorful bins receive the same fate? The last couple of years, we had quite a lot of times where service just didn't show up for days and days and then week after week. And then I would email, call, and have it resolved and get really nice emails and apologies, and then it would work. And then I would see on the Rosemont Facebook page that now my street gets service, but the next street over now doesn't get service. So what kind of provisions are being taken that there are enough trucks to go around to have trash picked up? But currently one of the reasons why trash couldn't be picked up was because it was too late in the day, the trucks were full, and they couldn't drop off till afternoon. So, you know, as exciting as this all is, I'm jaded on how this is going to be implemented. It's going to cost a lot of money, and it sounds great on paper, but forgive me for not being too optimistic on how this is going to.
I understand what you're saying, so you heard Josh's commitment to try to make it better, and I'm gonna reiterate it again. If you do not get the appropriate response you feel from Waste Management, then please, like I said, take one of my business cards and you can contact me directly and let me know, and I will work with Waste Management to hopefully resolve the problem for you. And hopefully we can make it better. That's all I know. All you do is try. Okay, yes, sir. The woman who's hand up a long time.
So, you know, and I just have a comment. So basically, you know, I have your trash service and you guys failed to pick up on time. So, you know, the residents in the area set out the cans and they leave them out there sometimes a couple days. You know, it's windy out here, the cans, the lids blow open, and then the birds come, pick through the trash, and then I have trash down my street all the way to the end where it collects at the end where there's a fence going across the field. And this is because the trash was never picked up on time and it just keeps sitting out there, you know, for days at a time. So now we're going to be forced to, you know, have 3 beds out there for, you know, and what's your commitment to pick up the trash on time?
I see that a lot too, and they brought that up a while back.
Because, you know, now the whole area of Roseland's going to be forced into this, and it's like, you know.
As I stated, this is, again, an opportunity for us to make the necessary investments to provide all of the enhancements from both customer service and from operations to ensure a much more consistent level of service. And I think that Brenda, as the district manager who oversees the trucks and drivers, would echo that but for a few folks in Roseman that service is really voluntary, it's really hard to make the level of business investment that we would like to see made. And again, all I can do is provide my insurances. I'll provide you my cell phone number. Ashley will provide you her cell phone number. Brenda will provide you her cell phone number. We're not looking to get out of getting the job done. In fact, we want to make sure the job gets done. And in fact, I was talking with somebody earlier that if it doesn't seem right, sound right, smell right, we want to know about it. That ultimately, you know, we're committed to doing a good job in Kern County. We've been here a lot of years, and we hope to be here a lot more years, but we know that really only comes with our ability to live up to their expectations in terms of our contract with the county.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Okay, so everybody has a lot, bad, good, and ugly, or whatever. You guys, I think that we're having to do this. It already comes out of my taxes, so I'm one of those green spots. So this has to be done, and it has to be done. The wind gets really ugly. The birds are really big. People don't do what they're supposed to do. I live with him, so all that trash does go to that fence. I have my kids out there pulling off the fence, so I don't want the neighborhood to look ugly. So my concern is, please, this has to be done. We'll work with you. I'll be at the end of the fence pulling weeds and stuff to make sure the trash doesn't get stuck out there. If you guys can just make sure there's enough trucks to get out there and do what they have to do, and make sure that they come out early enough and get all the stuff done like they're supposed to. If they gotta go back and dump, just make sure they come back. And we'll do our part if you guys just make sure you guys get your stuff done.
So for staffing, I have about 12 drivers just in Roseman that have all
Yeah.
either been hired or coming from other yards. I have a lot of transfers, so I have experienced drivers coming. Trucks will also be showing up around July 1st. So yeah, we have our yards. I don't know if anybody's seen the new CNG. That's the trusses that's going up. As soon as CNG, there's going to be about 25 to 30 trucks sitting in that yard pretty soon.
I think we're just all a little nervous.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
We're sorry,
Uh-huh.
but we trust you. We're gonna get it all done.
I know we have some difficulties during the wet season. I mean, I hope everybody understands that. I can't send trucks down some of the dirt roads. They get stuck, and once my truck sinks there, I can't fix your road until it dries up. So you won't be able to pass once my truck sinks to the rails. So I try not to tear people's roads up that you travel on to get to your homes by sending a 50,000 pound vehicle down that road. So I know that I have service problems then, and I know we just recently had one just with the fire the other day. So
Yeah, that was
we'll
a
get
funny
there.
one, because everybody's like,
Yeah.
is that why our trash didn't get picked up yesterday?
Yeah,
So everybody was
unfortunately.
like,
Yeah,
that's why the trash didn't get picked up.
they had a few streets that they still had to do, and
Yeah.
it was an engine fire, it wasn't anything to do with anything in the load or whatever, but that does cause some operational issues.
So we just have our kids out there picking up the
So
trash.
if everybody's got a pen and paper, I would love for all of you who have issues, to definitely call me. I can't fix them if I don't always know about them. You're right, I receive emails from corporate or, customer service lines and things like that. I do receive that, but I'm more than willing to, I listen to text messages. The number I give you is my cell phone number. I answer my phones 24/7 pretty much, so.
I think that's what we're all.
If everybody's ready for it?
Yeah. What's your name first?
My name is Brenda.
Brenda.
I always tell everybody, put it in there as Brenda Waste Management. Been with the company 17 years. And my phone number is 951 712 4979.
Okay, so I think you had your hand up first.
A lot of us put rocks on the top of the cans on the lid so that wind doesn't blow them. Sometimes the rocks disappear along with the load. And so, is there a technology out there that you can get latching lids on the cans that
There's not,
the truck that
because
can
they
use
don't,
them?
the latches don't work when they tilt them. It doesn't, it's not
But
it's not an option.
There's no technology that has a truck that will
No, and
unlatch the lid?
I will tell you that we can usually shake it off. I'm an ex-driver, by the way, of like 7 years, but anyways, you can shake them off sometimes. A lot of times it's just better to face it in put the back of the can to face the direction of the
But
wind.
then the truck can't pick it up.
We can pick them up sideways and we can pick them up backwards
Oh,
and
really?
we can pick them up forwards. The rocks,
Oh.
ladies and gentlemen, the rocks actually, if they shake that thing off in the wrong direction, it actually damages my truck. It damages the hoses.
But we didn't know that. You can turn the can virtually any way?
You can turn that can anyway. It might take a little bit of beating on your lid sometimes, but you can turn
Oh,
it. Yes.
okay.
But you might steal your
That's good to
rock.
know.
I don't really want to steal anybody's rocks.
Okay, yes.
Got a question. With this new inception, we have the RMAC that meets monthly. Do we get a commitment for at least for the first few months by the city that we have somebody from management show up at our perfect?
Absolutely.
Perfect, that'd be great. Now, hey, we can nip it in the bud, I think,
Yes,
in person.
I'm happy to.
Perfect.
We'll be in touch.
Okay. All right, so you had your hand up again?
Yeah, I was curious about like the street sweepers. What about those? Can we provide those?
Not her job.
Why?
I don't have, that's a roads issue. I don't do street sweepers, so.
It's
Sorry,
under,
sorry.
it's under contract to the county.
I'm sorry?
Under
Yeah.
contract to the county.
It's it may be under contract to the county.
It is.
It may be, that's not me. That's not me. But that report a problem, if there's issues with that report problem called, use that one and mention something about the street sweeper. Sorry. Okay, someone else had a hand up? Oh, back in the back, yes.
How much is this gonna cost to be put on the taxes if it does go through?
If it does go through, it's $559.80.
What about people that are seniors on fixed incomes or?
So Proposition 218 doesn't allow us to have different rates for anybody, so it's the same rate for everyone.
And then how will we know if this goes through or not?
The Board of Supervisors meeting on Tuesday, May 23rd, that's next Tuesday at 2 p.m. in the chambers on Truxton and Bakersfield. You can actually watch that. If you go to the Kern County Board of Supervisors webpage, they have links to that video if you want to watch it. If you don't want to watch it, it could be a long, boring meeting. Feel free to grab one of my cards and call and ask me what the heck happened. I'll be happy to tell you.
Okay, but you're gonna still count everybody's letter that's going into the mail?
We are in the process. My staff, I have Karina and several of my staff are in there desperately counting out protests right now. Probably not as we speak, but what they're going to do is they'll be continuing to count. You may also, if you feel like doing a protest, that's certainly something you can do. If you want to write a protest letter today, you can grab one of these little flyers we have, Karina has, you can protest it. All you have to do is write no on it, put your name, your address, and sign it. Make sure you have a signature on it, and you can give that to us, and we'll be happy to take it with you. Take it with us. If you want to come to the meeting and turn one into the meeting, you can do that also.
But is it doing good if the state mandate say you have to do it?
Well, the state has a mandate, but the Board of Supervisors still get to choose what they want to do. And it could, like I said, it could be a precarious position for them, where the state could issue fines for us, but we don't know if they will or won't, so the board gets to make the final decision.
What happens if the letter gets there on the 23rd?
In the mail, it needs to be there in the morning. They're going to pick, when they do the mail pickup in the morning, it needs to be there. If it's not there before then, if it comes there like in the afternoon, it's going to be too late and they won't count it. So if you have one, if you want to protest, I would suggest you might want to do one. You already said one, okay, then probably good.
For the community and.
So the other thing that we'll also do, that if you scan it, make sure you got the same letter, name, address, and a signature. If you scan it and email it to us at waste@kerncounty.com, or even to my email address, we will take those also. Yes, we prefer not to do that because they're a lot, but we will take, especially at this late date, we'll be happy to take those also. Yes, ma'am.
What about people that don't have service right now, that will let their orders?
Mandatory was
Correct, what he said, yes. But if you still want to load up stuff and take it to the dump, you can still do that. But you will still have that charge on your tax roll. You will be provided those 3 cards, even though you're currently, even if you're currently loading up and hauling it yourself. In the future, you won't have to do that. Someone will come pick it up. But if you ever want to do that, say maybe you want to load up you've got a couple of refrigerators you want to get rid of all at once, and you've got them on your trailer, and you can still take them out, but the landfill's still going to be free to go into.
So they're going to be getting taxed, not cards on it, but it's going to be
It's on the, if it's approved by the Board of Supervisors, it will go on your property tax bill, and that's an annual charge. Once a year it'll show up.
Do you have this map with the streets listed on it?
I don't have it with me.
Can you email it to me? I mean,
Yeah, once again, grab one of my cards. I think I mentioned it before. Grab one of my cards, and I'll be happy
I
to
just
do
for the sake
one.
of fairness to let people see it. You know?
Yeah, well, I'll be happy to blow it up, and we can get the street names up. Karina's really good at that, so I'm sure she'll be able to help me out with that. Okay, so I'm sorry.
Generally speaking, it's the border with the base out to 70-something west, I believe.
Wasn't this?
Okay.
Yeah, and then it's north of Willow Springs.
And how far south? All the way to
I do believe so, yes.
A? Thank you.
But we can get that for you too. So just make sure you email me. Okay, so yes, sir.
Yeah, hi, my name is Dennis. So if the board doesn't pass it and we get fined, who pays for that? Does the county pays for that, or do we all get extra tax for paying those fines?
Well, those fines would have to come out of the general fund of the county. The general fund is generally what pays for fire, police department, the district attorney's office, all the libraries. That's what the general fund is out there. That's where the fund that's where the fines would have to be paid from.
So
If
the
the county
general
did-
fund
because-
comes from our taxes, though, right?
Indeed it does.
Okay, so that means we would end up paying the fine anyway.
Somebody's gonna break.
Next
Yes.
question was, once or if this does pass, when would those bins be delivered to the residents?
Somewhere around the 1st of July. They'll have a schedule. They'll have to work out a schedule, and they will get that information out to each of the residents.
And the old bins will get picked up.
Are you planning on using the old bin still, guys?
So the current plan is that if you're happy with your container, you keep your container. If you need an additional container, which it sounds like some of you may need, a replacement container rather, that we'll be happy to replace that, but it will be upon request, so.
Quick question. If, let's say, so I currently have 2 cans. So one of those cans will be joined with the other stuff on my tax bill.
Correct.
Do I have to contact you to figure the other one out, or you can't automatically actually play?
No, for the additional containers, so somebody currently has 2 trash cans, that we will automatically set up a separate account for that additional container and continue to bill you for that additional.
Perfect.
This is how it's currently set up.
Thank you.
Okay, what's your question there?
If we currently have trash pickup through Waste Management, and we're not in that area and the bill goes through, does anything change?
Nothing changes.
Okay.
Nope, nothing changes. You'll be able to continue on like you're at. Okay, so what's your question, ma'am?
I just wondered, since you're the head of Rogan, what's your telephone number?
I'm gonna give everyone business cards. I brought time.
Oh, okay.
So,
Yes, ma'am.
Did you clarify that if we do go to the dump, we're still responsible for separating spends?
Yes, if you go to the dump, you'll need to be segregating your trash. The trash goes in the landfill, or they may have a separate bin for it. You need to put if you have any recyclable, they'll have some spots for them, and if you have organic waste, you need to put the organic waste. Yes.
I have a question. Is there anything in place in regards to multifamily communities as far as apartment buildings, as far as doing the recyclable bins or anything that's going to be in place? Because as of right now, there isn't.
Right, yes.
Well, yeah, well, are you asking for like are they gonna have like, just the service, or we're talking about the service level, or what are you speaking about exactly?
Well, I'm actually the property manager at Roseland Gateway and at United Park. And I've been requesting recycle bins, and I'm being told that that's not provided in the Roseland area. So now that all this is happening, are we gonna get provided recycle bins?
Yes, absolutely, it will be. And it's gonna be based on, for each apartment, they will be provided a level of 240 gallons a week. The 240 gallons equates to 196 gallon trash every week, 196 gallon organic every week, and 1 blue 96 gallon every other week. That actually equates to 240 gallons. And that will be for each unit you have, and but they can do that in the number of bins, however many bins they have in the number of pickups. So you may have a 3 cubic yard container for your trash, you may have a 3 cubic yard container for your recyclables, and you may only need a small organics because it's an apartment complex. You may just need a little bit for the food waste and stuff like that. So you may have a cart and a couple bins, but the total of them and the number of times they're picked up needs to be equal to 240 gallons per week per customer. Recycling tote bag, right? You guys are doing recycling totes? Yes, for multifamily. They'll each be given, each of your apartment complexes will be given a little recycling tote in a little compost type of container. Or if it's a bag. Or,
Kitchen pail.
yeah, kitchen pail. Is it a pail?
Plastic
Okay.
kitchen
It's a
pail.
kitchen pail, but it's straight.
As far as I see that they're going to be initiating the bulk pickup for individual homes. What about the apartment
Same
communities?
thing.
Because I get a lot.
Absolutely, you will also be given an opportunity for a call-in once per month, and it is actually per unit, so if you've got a whole bunch of items, you'll be able to call them and say, I need a bulky waste pickup, and they'll work with you on how much stuff you have, so. But you do need to call in and schedule an appointment for that, once per month.
Did you take my number? I think we
I
spoke
know you
before,
want
right?
something.
So, are your bulk pickups because I know you have a lot over there. I need you to schedule that with me.
Just call and make an appointment, sure. Okay, yes, sir.
Forgot to ask, since we're replacing the bins, my bin is currently green. Would you guys be replacing that with a black one, or would you, and I need to replace my bin anyways, because the whole
Yeah, your
top's
bin
terrible.
is, when you set it out there, we'll swap it out.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Just a couple things. A lot of folks do compost. So a lot of that organic is going to be thrown into a compost. How is that being affected? We still got to...
No, please continue to compost. If you're
Okay.
gonna compost, you can still put your yard waste in a container, but California state law says that we have to
I want
have
to make sure
containers.
that. And the other is I do have 2 trash cans. I don't really need it, but you could replace the other one to do whatever we need, so I'll have to get with you to change that.
Well, Ashley's
Yeah, Ashley would be glad to work with you on making sure we get your service level right.
They're laughing, but I am happy to help, so.
Dealing with me, you'll like it, believe me.
Yes, ma'am.
Real quick, just about the organics and stuff like that. Some people already do the organic, do their stuff at home. You're gonna have a bunch of organic waste is going to be compost, are we going to have that available to us for our gardens and things like that?
There is actually a requirement for the county to procure some of the waste, so there will be opportunities for that once we get set up with a composting facility ourselves, so there will be some opportunities for that in the future. But it's part of the law also. Okay, any other questions? I think we're okay on time?
No, we gotta start back.
Okay, so we need to wrap up, okay.
I want to thank you guys for coming out.
Yeah, thank you very much.
It was very informational and I had a lot of information.
Well, you're quite welcome. Happy to do that. All right. Yes, sir.
Question for you.
Okay.
Since you're the head of the department up there. Okay, so this law was passed in 2016. At that same time, Waste Management taking over some film. In the third quarter of 2016, we used to pay a quarterly recycling fee per cart, which was about $11, and that was dropped at that time. Okay? Then I see in this flyer here that we had a chance to be able to get a good cart for $7 and something a month. I never knew this. Nobody knew this. So what have you done in the last 7 years to migrate what, AB 1383 required?
Well,
rather than just wait till it be a bombshell like this.
Well, we've been working on what that plan was over the years. And so, do you guys provide recycling service now?
In the universal collection areas
In the universal
that
collection
exist today. So I will say that, as was mentioned earlier by Lisa at the beginning of the meeting, that recycling as a business has been very, very challenged. That's why you're seeing fewer and fewer recycling centers these days. Yeah. Effectively, the value of the materials does not offset the cost of collecting it, sorting it, and finding a home for it. I.e., it's good to reuse the material, better than using virgin, but at the end of the day, that it's costly, more costly than the material value of holds. So from that standpoint, I'm with you in terms of we would love to roll out recycling. In this case, it just didn't really work out from a financial standpoint, but in terms of working with the county, we're making it work. We're excited about rolling out.
Well, the recycling back then used to be profitable too, back in 2016.
We were paying for it. I don't know if it's been done or not, but we were paying for it.
Well,
it just dropped.
Well, I don't think it was ever dropped, but I think there were a few years.
I think he's talking about the mixed waste processing that Ben's was doing.
Okay.
That's right.
Oh,
So-
what Ben's was providing?
I remember that, yeah, they charged, I think it was $11 a month or whatever, so they could separate.
Each cart we have.
Oh, okay, well, that was,
that was
I'm not real
dropped when
familiar with
Waste
that.
Management
Yeah,
took it over.
okay, well, I'm sorry, I'm not real familiar with that. I wasn't actually working for the county at that time, so, I know that's not a good excuse, but I'm just not familiar with it, because we're not doing that anymore.
You ought to remember that if you guys established it back then.
I wasn't here, I wasn't working for the county in 2016. I didn't hire on until 2017. Sorry.
You know what I'm saying? Because if we just drop down and we haven't been doing nothing until the state comes along and says, you do this.
Well, a lot of communities have been.
Drop in their drawers and say, we'll do it.
Well, a lot of communities have been recycling all along. There have been many of them that have
We
been.
should fight it.
I'm sorry?
We should fight it because it's wrong. I mean, I don't mind paying extra. I don't like it going on my taxes.
Okay, I get that.
You know, I don't. If he's got a blue card, bring it out. I'd rather get rid of that other green one that I don't use anyhow. I'd pay like about almost 10 something a month extra on it.
What, you have
I've been out there one time and 2 times in the last 6 months.
Have you got a green card out there now?
Well.
So he's got 2 trash carts currently, and he
okay.
doesn't really use the second one, but he'd like to have a recycle cart. So, I mean, this, like I said, a lot of these things, we're with you in terms of trying to get a program that is robust and healthy, and WM, we're the North America's largest recycler. We're with you. We see the long-term value in making sure that we're not throwing stuff away we can reuse. It's just in terms of making it work for Roseman, it's been a challenge for us, but this is our opportunity if the supervisors decide to move forward, where we're able to do that for you.
Okay, so I'm told I need to shut it off, so So I appreciate everybody's questions. If you have more questions, take my card, you can call me, you can email me, and I'd be happy to answer them. Because I think they got another meeting right behind us. I think they went out of the way.